Shannon Ogden.
And I'm Ann Trujillo. We want to first get to developing news. Out of Broncos country, wide receiver Jeudy has been arrested in Arapahoe County on second-degree tampering with the domestic violence enhancer.
So here to break down exactly what this means and when he could get out of jail, our chief investigative reporter, Tony Kovaleski.
And Tony, you were first to break the details of Jeudy's arrest today.
Yeah, Shannon, and here's what we've learned. Jeudy of the Broncos, he was the first-round pick back in 2020, and he was arrested between 11:30 and 12:30 in unincorporated East Arapahoe County. He now faces charges of second-degree criminal tampering with a domestic violence enhancer. During a news conference within the hour, Arapahoe County Sheriff Tyler Brown described it this way. He said that sources confirmed to us earlier that Jeudy did not hit a person or there was no physical violence connected to this. Typically, domestic violence enhancers are attached with a crime involving someone the accused has or has had an intimate relationship with. What we learned here essentially is that the sheriff said this involved the wife, or actually the mother of Jeudy's daughter. Here's what the sheriff had to say just a few moments ago.
He was taken into custody without incident. He was cooperative on scene and was cooperative with the deputies. He'd never identified himself except by name and date of birth.
This is a live look now at the Arapahoe County Jail where Jeudy was taken earlier today. We are told he will remain there overnight until his hearing tomorrow at 8:30. According to state statute, a charge of second-degree criminal tampering is brought for tampering with the property of another individual with the intent to either cause injury, inconvenience, or annoyance. Now, shortly after the arrest became public, the Broncos issued the following statement. We are aware of the matter involving Jeudy and are in the process of gathering more information. So we got details today, but the sheriff clearly said that they will provide more in the morning. We don't know specifically what was involved, what may have been taken from the mother of Jeudy's child and what caused this all to break out. We are told that information and more details are likely to be provided before the hearing tomorrow at 8:30. Shannon?
All right, still early hours in this. Thanks for that, Tony. We appreciate it. In Colorado Springs, we're monitoring multiple wildfires this hour, two of which forced hundreds of people out of their homes.
Now, the first one sparked earlier this afternoon off Powers Boulevard along Ackerman Drive. It's grown now to 25 acres and 500 homes had to be evacuated. No word on whether any houses have been damaged or if that fire is under control. We're still waiting to hear about that. Minutes later, evacuation orders were issued for a fire at a mobile home park, this one near I-25 and Garden of the Gods Road. We do know that 8 homes were lost in that fire. The good news is no one was injured.
Yeah, and even though those fires were down in Colorado Springs, reverse 911 calls were sent to people all the way north in Castle Rock. We know alerts were sent out in Douglas, Elbert County, Falcon, that's south of Colorado Springs. We have reached out to each area to find out just why those alerts were sent out.
And really, for the rest of the state, we should all be concerned about the extreme fire conditions.
And that is why we're checking in now with Chief Meteorologist Mike Nelson. Mike?
Those winds are still howling out there, although temperatures were lower today behind a cold front that didn't bring any rain, but just brought lower temperatures and the strong winds. 31 miles per hour right now, Colorado Springs, 24 miles per hour in Denver. So this is a cross section looking north. The mountains over here, Denver right here. We have a very strong jet stream aloft, and we've had that for most of the spring. During the day, when the atmosphere kind of mixes up a little bit due to the heating from the sun, some of that jet stream energy mixes down to the surface and brings us these really strong winds. And part of the cause why it's been so windy, La Nina, way out in the Pacific Ocean, that changes the jet stream flow. That cooler water in the Pacific tends to bring us a jet stream that blows in from the northwest, and it favors the northern parts of the United States with the most for the precipitation and just brings us wind. And this has been going on for weeks. We've had the strong winds aloft racing over Colorado, while the storm track has stayed to the north of us. They're getting some moisture up across the northern sections of the United States. We just get the wind and occasional temperature changes. It does not look like this is going to change anytime soon. Some more windy, mostly warm and dry weather with high fire danger is going to continue probably for the next 5 to 7 days at least.
All right, thanks, Mike. See you in a little bit. Take a look here. The Boulder County Sheriff's Office wants you to be on the lookout for this 14-year-old. Her name is Heaven White. She was last seen at Manhattan Middle School in Boulder. Police say she arrived on campus, but she never went to class. Now, she has no history of running away, and police believe she may be with someone she met online. If you have information or if you see her, please call Boulder Police.
Areas near Highway 36 and Table Mesa Drive are now back open after a carjacking suspect led police on a chase through Boulder and Broomfield this morning. Police shot at the suspect while trying to get him into custody. Eventually, police were able to arrest him. He was not injured and no officers were injured.
1 million empty chairs around the family dinner table. Each irreplaceable losses. Each leaving behind a family, a community, forever changed because of this pandemic.
1 million people now have died in the United States from COVID-19. The president ordered flags to be flown at half-staff to mark this tragic milestone. He's also continuing to push Congress for more COVID funding. He says the U.S. can stay ahead of any possible new variants with this money. The U.S. has reported more than 82 million COVID cases since the outbreak began.
And today, the president also announced steps his administration is taking to address the growing baby formula shortage in the country. President Biden is urging manufacturers to simplify product offerings to increase the scale and speed of production. He is also ordering the FTC and state attorneys general to go after price gougers and increase formula imports without sacrificing safety. The FDA is also expected to announce in the coming days specific actions to increase the formula abundance out there.
Today, students all over the Denver metro walked out of school in support of abortion rights.
Denver 7's Micah Smith talked with those students who told her Roe v. Wade is not just about women's rights, it's about human rights.
Hundreds of Lakewood High School students ditched class today, not out of almost summer restlessness or for senior skip day, but to protest for abortion rights.
Today we're just protesting the possible overturn of Roe v. Wade.
Lakewood High School sophomore Elizabeth Swanson says she knows some may think she's too young to have this opinion, but that's why she wants to voice her concerns.
It's all about us being able to shape the future and not having our parents and the Supreme Court and everybody else dictate what we can do with our lives.
It's really important for me to be involved in this because in the future I might need an abortion.
Lakewood High sophomore Kiana Good says she knows abortion rights are now protected under Colorado law, but she's worried about women in other places.
I mean, I'm not the only person in the world that's a woman and who would possibly need an abortion in the future, and I think it is so unfair that only certain states would possibly allow abortion.
Students from 6 Jeffco high schools participated in the walkout. Students in Aurora walked out, and Denver public school students made their way to the state capitol.
The whole My Body, My Choice movement is very important to me, especially because I'm a male.
Lakewood High School senior Aiden Baumgarten says he knows the walkout won't be received well by all.
Everybody is welcome to their own opinion, but just try to realize, put yourself in the shoes of somebody who's in a circumstance that's just very difficult.
Aiden, Kiana, and Elizabeth say they hope the walkout shows the Supreme Court that young Americans are watching, and they too want a say in what happens in this country. Micah Smith, Denver 7.
And we know not everyone agrees with the purpose of today's demonstration, so we reached out to the Respect Life Office for Catholic Charities for a different perspective. And Director Lynn Grandin told us she's helped dozens of young mothers who decided against abortion and has helped provide perspective to teens.
When we tell them up front how abortions are done, because we say to them, make an informed decision. You deserve to make an informed decision. The majority of those teens, without any push from us to just say, here are the honest facts about it, so that you can be empowered to make a good decision, the majority of them say, you know what, now that I understand this, I just cannot do that.
And you can read more of our in-depth coverage on Roe v. Wade and hear perspectives from all sides of the issue on thedenverchannel.com.
Rather than 50 ways to save you money, there are hundreds and hundreds of ways to save people money.
Session over. We're wrapping up everything Colorado lawmakers did and did not accomplish over the past 120 days.
I knew we could do better, and we didn't.
Plus, business is buzzing in Boulder.
I want to be able to see every single jar that goes out. I want to make sure that I can stand behind my product.
We'll introduce you to the sweet company that's utilizing honey in every way possible.
The tree is not sick, it has no bugs.
And local activists fight to save a 142-year-old tree by chaining themselves to it.
There was about 10 of us, and we were chained to the tree to try to hold it up, to try to negotiate.